12. We still have.
I still have 0 minutes.
Oh,
Good morning. Welcome to this special meeting of the Board of Supervisors, May 10th, 2023. We will begin with a flag salute and Supervisor Gogan will lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have one item on our consent calendar. These items include routine, non-controversial matters and will be acted upon by the board by one roll call motion. If a member of the public has any questions or comments on this item, they may be provided now. A member of the board or staff may request an item be pulled and considered separately. And just to remind us that in a special meeting, items for public comment, you can only comment on something that is on the agenda. No comment is taken on things not on the agenda. So at this time, we will open public comment on item 1.1.
Terry Mines, Junction City. There it is. I wasn't sure. Building Development Services. And then the second one is closed section. Okay. Sorry, I meant to be on the second one.
Okay, seeing no other public comment in the room on item 1.1, is there any on Zoom?
I have no raised hands, no chat.
All right. All right, we'll bring it back to the board. And are there any? So this is just a consent. Any questions of board members?
I know Dan had to step out for a urgent call. Is it possible to wait a few minutes? Or do you want to go
Yes,
ahead?
we need to wait for Supervisor Frazier. Let's pause the meeting for 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is 9:05. We are resuming. Supervisor Frazier is back with us. We have opened and closed public comment on item 1.1, the consent agenda. So we are opening if there are any questions of board members on this item. All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
To approve as submitted.
I will second.
All right, motion by Supervisor Lutweiler, second by Supervisor Gogan.
Supervisor Gogan.
Aye.
Supervisor Lutweiler.
Aye.
Supervisor Carpenter Harris.
Aye.
Supervisor Frazier.
Aye.
Chairman Cox.
Aye. All right, moving into the closed session. It is my understanding it has been determined that item 2.1 will not be happening as presented today and will not be continued to a future date. If there are board members who have statements about this or want to speak into that at all, I would open that to them at this time. Yes.
What happened? I can speak into that somewhat. I actually asked for this to happen. I wanted to go into closed session. My concern is I'm not sure that I got it agendized properly. And so I'm struggling because I've already destroyed you guys' day. Publix came. It's difficult. I think we can discuss most of what I would like to discuss the way this has been agendized, but I don't think it gets the full picture to the public. So I don't know, I would like to continue with this item and discuss what I would like to with the CAO as a board in closed session, but at the same time, I don't think I can go where I wanted to. So I would say it's a pleasure of the board if you want to table this item and call it a wasted day, or, and I can try again, probably for our next regular meeting, I would suspect, or we can, I'd say that's the pleasure of the board at this point.
Is there any time constraints on this?
Possibly, but at the same time, probably not enough to constitute a emergency, I would say. I'm not sure.
I would feel most comfortable with this being agendized properly, knowing that it doesn't encompass, and ask that we do have a special meeting and place it on Monday so that we can take care of this before the next regular meeting would be my preference.
What was the improper agenda?
Well, I don't think that, the CAO evaluation will cover a portion of what I want to discuss, but there's a portion of it that I'm not sure how it should be agendized. I've been struggling with that because closed session agenda items are very strict. I know it's a closed session agenda item. I'm not sure how to agendize it and how to, so that it's clear to the public what we're doing. I don't want to have any inkling in the public that we're doing anything incorrect. And I want to make sure that I get it agendized properly. And if we do table this, I would say, I apologize to everyone here because this was at my direction. I just think that it was maybe too hurried on my part and I didn't catch everything I wanted to catch.
So I'm recalling a recent meeting where it was something, I think, about voting to suspend rules about notice of closed session so that we could have a closed session item that same day. I think it was something like that. And I'm just wondering if is there something where we could say something like that, but let Dan and Trent go away and talk about how this might be properly agendized. And if we could figure out how that is.
I believe the only way we can do that is if there's an emergency that would, emergency issue that would make it so that we can't wait till our next scheduled meeting.
Okay.
And
Or properly agendize a special meeting.
yeah, so while I'm struggling with it, I would like to have some closed session conversation with Trent as a board. At the same time, I don't think we can go where I want to go. And that'll maybe have to wait until either next week, or I don't know that I'm available except Tuesday next week. I have a string of meetings like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything that's not transparent or agendized properly. But I would like to do what we could today to expedite what we do next week, if that's possible.
And I also would suggest that we open this up to public comment before we decide one way or another.
I would like to hear from Supervisor Carpenter Harris.
I kind of agree with the idea of going forward with what we can so that when we do tackle the rest of it, it is not. But I trust Supervisor Fraser with what he knows he's bringing and what he wants to accomplish. So since it's he brought it forward, I'll just go with his lead, whatever. Can we tackle part of it, do you think?
I believe that we can. I do believe some of this would be under CAO and evaluation because it's what we need to determine with our CAO, but the rest of it, I think we need to hold off on.
Okay.
Do we need to have public comment?
And we will have to have public comment on this item.
Yeah, I'm fine with going forward with the things that are appropriate to discuss under it and then figure out later how to do the rest that you want to get on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, we will do so. And so we will open public comment on item 2.1 CAO evaluation.
Terry Mines, Junction City. Closed session. This is really, I think, at the crux of what's going on in our county right now. Lack of trust. Thank you, Dan, for being transparent about what is actually transpiring or lack of transpiring. But I think the board, or most of the board, lost sight in what your reason for being there is. I was only there a short term, but I wasn't elected. I was appointed. It's quite a different thing. I didn't have to impress anybody. I didn't have any constituents, except everyone's was my responsibility. And you guys are into some uncharted waters here. 3 of you are handpicked Jim Underwood puppets. That's extremely disappointing. And I brought this up the entire time because now.
So I would ask that your comments relate to the
Yes, it
CEO.
is. Well, no, well, it is because you're his boss. Okay, you guys are the direct boss of this man, and he needs to operate independently at this point, I feel. I don't think you 5 can be his boss and him do his job properly. I think he needs independence. You guys, 3 of you are not to be trusted 100% at this point until there's an investigation into your attachments to Jim Underwood. I think there's been enough come out here in these emails that scare everyone in this county. Okay, I think calling for some independence here is absolutely why I asked the state to come in. Okay, we're there. You people have broke the trust of this community. I mean, it's evident in the emails. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. I'm embarrassed. Personally, I am. I'm extremely embarrassed right now. I think this is for lack of having some experience on the board. I think this is why when Keith lost, this was so detrimental to this community, because Keith actually had experience and knowledge of how to run.
So
this.
again,
So I
related
think-
to the CAO, if you would please.
I'm not sure how you get there, but you have to bring independence here. This gentleman has to operate freely without your guys' supervision. So please contact the state of California on how you move forward with maybe the state attorney general or someone coming in here until the 3 of you that are Jim Underwood's puppets properly provide all your emails, all your text messages, everything that's probably a Browns Act violations that concur, and let this gentleman operate free and clear and do the job this county needs until then.
Thank you.
Ray Peterson, District 1. I've already drove 2 hours this morning to make sure I could be here because when I saw the agenda yesterday, I had a lot of red flags going off. I've had a lot of employees and never have done an employee evaluation 2 weeks into the position. That's a little bit odd. So I really thank you, Dan, for trying to be transparent and helping to build the trust in the way that you're making decisions, because we are all watching and it is a really important time. And I know that you really care about this community. I've met you out in the field before. So I just really appreciate that you are going to agendize it properly and that we'll all be able to know what this process is and what's happening, because it's pretty nerve-wracking right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no more public comment in the room, is there any on Zoom?
I have no raised hands, no chats.
All right, with that, we will close public comment and bring it back to the board. We will conclude our open session and go into closed session.
For people, I like that. And I like arguing. We still have 15
Good,
people.
Ashley. Okay. All right. It is 10:55 and the board is coming out of closed session, reporting out on May 10th, agenda item 2.1, Government Code Section 54954.5E, Public Employee Evaluation, County Administrative Officer. The following direction was given to staff. Agendize a Monday evening meeting for county council evaluation. CAO to establish a suggested CAO evaluation tool. Board to provide priorities to the CAO to set expectations and priorities, including the following. Identify areas where county processes need attention. Operational objectives prioritized. And the board to use a survey tool to provide input regarding priorities. Quarterly discussions, midterm feedback, and formal evaluations will then be held. And that is the end of the report and the end of the closed session meeting, May 10th.
Thank you.
And we are now adjourned.